There's many ways to show up and advocate for others. You know, you can do it at an organization, you can do it through your art, through your music. For me, it was by unpacking my words on the paper or into the digital space. I was one of the few trans voices in media. Like, the only person I really knew about was Janet Mock. And I remember when I first read her book, Redefining Realness, and seeing some of her very eloquent statements on MSNBC, and I was just thinking, like, you know what? I could do that too. There's space for me there.
Yeah, like 5 years ago, those MSNBC clips were like the only thing online.
Yeah.
When I was first writing, I was so excited. I was 22. It was with Rookie, and I did a lot of personal essay and wrote about beauty on there. And then that turned into other jobs at other publications. And I found that I kept being approached to write about the same thing over and over. Like, I've been asked by every publication to write about gender neutral fashion, as if that article doesn't already exist. The excitement that I had that people wanted me to write for them started to turn into, like, there are other things going on in my head that have nothing to do with this identity, but this is what you want. And like, my experience with editors was really like, I was the trans person, so I was suddenly like an authority. And so like, nothing of what I wrote was like questioned, edited, remarked upon, because like these like cis people have this panic of saying the wrong thing to you.
Which is what we're always talking about when we're speaking about us not being a monolith, like that we all have different thoughts and opinions and views. And I think that became obvious with like people like Caitlyn Jenner coming to into the spotlight, where it's like, you know, like obviously like we have different beliefs, and it doesn't always inform the experiences of each and every individual collectively.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually watching this TV show last night where they have a trans character.
A character?
A character, yeah.
A character.
But they have this trans girl on the show, and she, like, the first time we see her is like injecting estrogen. And then the next time we see her, she's like having like forceful anal sex. And then the next time we see her, she like cuts herself. We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what I watched last night didn't feel like it was a trans story for me. Like, it was for everyone else to like learn the basics.
It was our experiences through the cis heteronormative gaze, essentially. In media, we're seen as these caricatures. Even shows like Orange is the New Black that many people look at and they're like, oh, that's progressive. You know, Laverne Cox is on there, but she's in prison.
Yeah, I think the past decade we've seen a lot of the like, I'm a single white female and I'm crazy, like Fleabag or like Girls. It's funny to me how so many of these creators think trans people always respond to transphobia with bravery, because I feel like it's made me nasty, and why wouldn't I be? It's such a frustrating thing to have to experience, and so I would like to see like complicated, flawed trans characters and not just like the martyrs, the like saviors of humanity and like the moral compass.
I think for me, like as a Black trans woman, there's always a demonizing narrative that's attached to us already. Even in 2019, there's been 11 trans women who've been murdered, and they've all been Black. So a lot of my work in media and in like writing has been trying to really underscore the heart and the love. I actually started a campaign called #ThriveOver35. It started because the estimated life expectancy of a Black trans woman is only 35 years old, and I'm actually 35 years old as of June 7th.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And it's so strange because even when I came here, I was thinking like, oh, I'm probably going to be talking to someone who's a pioneer, you know, who's older than me, who's going to like tell me about what it was like in their day. And then I came here and saw that you were younger than me, and I'm the pioneer, and it's just like, oh my God. And there's so many mixed emotions because 35, for many people, life is just starting. But if I were to measure my existence up against those statistics, then it's like, it's alarming.
Yeah, the trans woman that died at Rikers, Laylene Extravaganza, it wasn't lost on me that like the rally for that was the night before the Pose premiere. And like how so many people tuned in to watch that show, and how I imagine so many viewers of it think that the world of Pose that they're watching is so far behind us when so many deaths are still occurring. And so they'll consume something like Pose as entertainment and won't like uplift these women that we lost for no good reason.
I'm really grateful, even like for this space and this conversation, to be able to, you know, sit with another sister and see their worth and their gifts and their talent and their strength and their humanity more than anything. I like the fact that you were talking about this martyr narrative that comes across, and it's like, no, sometimes we just get to be human. Sometimes I don't want to have to be a teacher. Sometimes I don't want to have to be brave. I don't want to have to be courageous. I just want to be a human being instead of having to navigate every space and have to come out with a teaching moment.
Yeah, this isn't seventh heaven. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing so much of the knowledge and the wisdom that you have. It is not lost on me that it is all due to your incredibly hard work, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I think more than anything, just thank you for being your favorite word, brave, enough to be you and to even push back against things that the generation before you may have prioritized or earmarked for you. Because the reality is everything that we're doing today, it's supposed to be for the generation tomorrow, and that should be your decision to prioritize what's important to you based on that. So even hearing you say, you know, yeah, but I think we're ready for this. We're ready for these complexities. Like, we're past one-on-one. I think that's where we get to see the real progress, is when we hear stories like yours.
Yeah, thanks.